Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. They'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to
There we go. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Glad you could be here. Let's jump into things for today. Today is the 14th of July. So we've been in a moon sign this weekend of Aquarius. We're coming out of that. Tonight we're going to be going into the moon sign of Pisces. Aquarius is an air sign. Pisces is a water sign. So we're going from air to water unconsciously. Conscious mind, we're still at water, where we're going to be for the rest of this week. When we look at the aspects that are going on, we have an aspect that took place just past midnight between Aquarius. Had an aspect between Aquarius. It was a sextile, and this here is Uranus. And then we go down here a little bit further, and about 20 minutes after that, there was a square between Aquarius and Saturn. So we had unexpected changes, and we had discipline. Of course, it's the middle of the night. And when it gets to be noon, a little past noon, we're going to be going into a nice trine between Aquarius and Mars. And then a couple hours after that, Venus is going to be in a trine with the moon sign, which is, says void of course, which means we're really in that transition phase. So we have imagination, we have this intense energy, or this passion that's around, dealing with Aquarian ideas with the mind. And then later this evening we go into Pisces, which is a water sign. Numerology for today is a number 1. Here's how we arrived at this number 1 right here. We have the 7 plus the 14 plus the year 2014 adds up to a 19. 19 is 1 plus 9 is a 10, and then 1 plus 0 is 1. That is a numerology today. The Magician, number 1, focused. So let's look at our chart here. What we know about the number 1s, what they represent. Let's look at our tree of life here. Here's where the 1 is coming from, coming out of the crown, between the crown and understanding. Okay, coming from the crown to the understanding. All right, and then our sun sign for today right here, Cancer, and our moon sign today, Aquarius, right here, coming out of Aquarius now into Pisces right here. Okay. Current moon phase. Well, actually, let's backtrack. Let's take a look at the star for today, since this is the moon sign that we've had over the weekend. The star, Aquarius. The Hebrew letter Zadi signifies a fish hook. The reference to angling is closely allied with another meaning of this key, namely meditation. What is symbolized by the fish hook is symbolized by investigating the unseen, quest, research into the depths of the inner conscious, symbolized by water. Such fishing for inner knowledge is the function of meditation. The great central star is the symbol of the life power which is concentrated and radiated from all the stars in the universe. The 7 smaller stars refers to 7 smaller centers of force in the human organism called interior stars in Western occultism and chakras by the Hindus. They also refer to the 7 planets of astrology. The tree is the brain in the nervous system. The bird on its branches is an ibis, sacred to Hermes, Isis, or nature. is symbolized by the kneeling woman. Her left leg supports her weight and rests upon the earth. The physical plane, the right leg maintains her balance and rests upon the waves and the surface of the pool, thus indicating balance obtained by control of vibration. The 5 streams of water are the senses. Revelation is the stage of unfoldment attributed to key 17. And then here's the Hebrew letter Zadi, means fish hook. The idea being that of you put a fish or you put a bait on the hook, put the hook into the water, and then you bring up the type of fish that you're looking for. And it's all dependent upon the bait that you're using. So with meditation, you have the line, you put a bait on it, which is the question you want to ask. You throw the hook, the line down into your subconscious, and you allow it just to fish there, and then you bring up the right answer because you posed the right question. So that's how it's supposed to work. When we use the system properly, waning moon means we're going back down to a new moon. Waning means going down. Waxing means going up. So we're already 93% of the way there, making our way back down. This week in the sky, we have the tail of Scorpius is low in the south after dark. How low depends on how far north you are. Look for the 2 stars especially close together in the tail. These are Lambda and fainter up, Epsilon Scorpii. Shala and Lesath, known as the cat's eyes. They're canted at an angle. They point west by nearly a fist width towards Mu Scorpio, a much tighter pair known as little cat's eyes. You can resolve it without using binoculars, it says. Okay, so this is the 15th coming up, so just leading into that. Over here on the Mayan Oracle, today we're at a 10-tone day. It's called the planetary tone of manifestation. We have the Earth, which is the kin for today. The guide is the serpent. So we have the planetary Earth guided by the serpent. Like-minded energy today is the wind. The challenge for today is the hand, and the hidden power is the seed. We're still in the wave spell, which is the theme of beauty, which is the star, beauty and elegance. Today we're at the navigation of it. The phrase is, I perfect in order to evolve, producing synchronicity. I seal the matrix of navigation with the planetary tone of manifestation. I am guided by the power of life force. Space weather, solar wind 367.8 kilometers per second. Planetary K index is in the 2 range at the moment. Not a lot in the way of coronal holes there. M-class flare possibilities now down to 40. We could see it's made a big drop off from 60. And M-class is now down to 5. Geomagnetic storm activity is getting a bit active in the next 24 to 48 hours, but that's about it. Nothing real intense to deal with. And then last, we look at our Jewish calendar today. 14th is 16 Tammuz. Let's look and see what our thought for today is. Okay, the daily thought. Internal terrorism. Each of us has a terrorist inside, a mad impulse to abandon that which is rightfully ours, to blow ourselves to smithereens. You cannot outsmart it, for it has hijacked the mind that you use. It believes it is you. It believes you are it. No peace can be made with it, no compromise, for compromise is the name of its game, step by step to your oblivion. You cannot even recognize its existence, for that would be your admission that evil has a place in God's world. There is only one solution, and you know what it is right to do that. Do not stop to look backwards. Certainly do not negotiate with a terrorist. Alright, so there you go. That gets us started for today. UFO news is up next. Let's get on to it.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
Alright, Dirk, thank you very much. Today's UFO news starts off over here in Vermont. We have a sighting right there. Is our sighting in question. I walk outside and look up and watch as a plane or object flew through the sky directly over me. Then I realize how close it is. Made absolutely no sound at all. This is the object right there. We have a video that goes along with it. 50 seconds in length. Alright, nice little quiet UFO floating above the city there. You can see the moon, good point of reference where it is. Okay, let's check it out, see what you think. I'm moving on to the next one. Here we have over Vienna, Austria, July 6th. Got a couple of them in the sky here, kind of similar to the last one. Great capture of a cloud orb over Vienna, Austria this week. This guy only has one video to count, but it looks like he's a bit nervous to talk about it, so I hope he doesn't delete the real and important video. You see, this white UFO is an orb maker, meaning it produces orbs from itself, and these orbs are like drones that spread out and gather intel. They will come back to the original place to enter the mother orb. Yes, I call it that. At 55 seconds into the video, see a small orb drone shoot from the upper right of the screen, then move to the lower left. The first thing orb drones do is head to the clouds to hide while they determine their direction. This is what the orb did at 55 seconds, leaving its cloud to head to its mission. Okay, the video is 2 minutes and 10 seconds in length. Let's see if we can jump over to the 55-second mark. There's 53. Alright, it's very faint. Certainly when you expand the picture you can see it much better. Alright, let's move on from here. Next we're going to go to Australia, Melbourne, Australia, for what appears to be a damaged UFO. Here's our object in question. 2 days ago, this UFO was recorded over Australia, and so-called experts jumped in to say it was a meteor. Other experts say it was space junk, but the truth has not been said until now. This is a UFO. Its glowing front part actually moves in the middle of the craft. No meteor can do that. No abandoned space junk can do that either. So I ask you, either a meteor or a space junk this big and one found on a crash site? That's because it landed and then entered an underground base not far from Melbourne. This area of Australia is one of the most active UFO sites in the sky, only third to Chile and Argentina. For an alien craft to come in this hot and smoky, it must have received a lot of damage. Hope they made it. Alright, so something's coming in there. Very interesting. Good capture. Let's move on next. Okay, here's a tour bus that actually got inside Area 51 by mistake. Imagine what happens when someone trespasses into the safest security perimeter in the world and gets busted. This is an ordeal a few tourists had to go through when their tour guide accidentally drove into a restricted area site of Area 51. A few moments into the drive, they were tailed by security truck and were ordered to get out of the van immediately. The van that trespassed into the perimeter belonged to Adventure Photo Tours, a company based in Nevada. This happened when the driver of the van, Dennis Ryan, got distracted due to a question asked by a passenger regarding sports. He was so engrossed in answering the question that he missed the sign that warned to watch out for the boundary. Within a minute or two from then on, they were pulled down by the security truck that followed them in no time. The driver realized it, and before even stopping the van, he apologized to the passenger, saying they were being followed by men in black. The incident came to light when reporter George Knapp reported it first on KLAS TV Program 8 News Now. Cap has a history related to Area 51. He has covered the story of an apparent whistleblower who worked at the highly secret and covert base. It started that the men worked in the reverse engineering process of alien technology back in 1989. With such reports grabbing the interest of viewers, thousands of visitors were attracted to this base over a short span of time. Okay, let's see. There's a video right here. Let's see if we can find out from this video.
Problems with your website?
Alright, it says that ultimately the DA in charge had to change his decision.
Awesome. Thank you for calling HostGator.
And let's see. Let's change his decision. Also, conditions were imposed on the driver that he was not supposed to visit areas in the vicinity of Area 51 for the next 2 years. The DA strictly imposed that the video was recorded, should not be made public as per Knapp. The reporter from KLS this was because of the fact that several security trucks were caught coming out of Area 51 on camera. Alright, passengers indeed had to go through an ordeal, but ultimately the tour bus had a secret facility turned into a traumatic experience. Alright, and here's some of the... Okay, so it's a 5 minutes and 42-second video. So, check it out. I'm leaving the link available for you to do exactly that. But very interesting. It's a long story. Most interesting indeed. Alright, here we have a dramatic encounter between aircraft and 3 UFOs. Here's what. One of the most important encounters between UFOs and airplanes was held by Captain Carlos Antonio de los Santos, May 3rd, 1975, over Tequescuitquenco, Mexico. He not only found UFOs in the air, but they also controlled his plane. We have a story, 4 minutes and 6 seconds, listening to what that's all about, but I'm moving on from there. Early Indian text refers to UFOs, aeronautics, spaceships, and astronauts. Amazingly, these early documents speak of graphite rods, copper coils, crystal indicators, vibrating spheres, stable angles, and much more. According to Dr. V. Raghavan, retired head of the Sanskrit Department of India's prestigious University of Madras, was alone in playing host to extraterrestrials in prehistory. Dr. Raghavan contends that centuries-old documents in Sanskrit, the classic language of Indian Hinduism, prove that aliens from outer space visited this nation. 50 years of researching this ancient work convinces me that there are living beings on other planets and that they visited Earth as far back as 4000 BC, the scholar said. There was just a mass of fascinating information about flying machines, even fantastic science fiction weapons that could be found in translations of the Vedas, Indian epics, and other ancient Sanskrit texts. In the Mahabharata writings, there is a notion of divine lighting and ray weapons, even a kind of hypnotic weapon. And in the Ramayana writings, there is a description of the Vimanas, or flying machines that navigated great heights with the aid of quicksilver and great propulsion wind. These are space vehicles similar to the so-called flying saucers or UFOs reported throughout the world today. Ramayana even describes a beautiful chariot which arrived shining, a wonderful divine car that sped through the air. In another passage, there is mention of a chariot sailing overhead like the moon. Alright, so we got a lot more to this article. You can read through that on your own the rest of the way. I'm moving on to the next story here, which is from 1988. A reddish-orange UFO the size of an aircraft carrier. It goes on to say it was big as an aircraft and changed my life. Grace never expected to see a UFO the size of an aircraft carrier. Grace was working on a TV commercial film shoot in upstate New York. The various crews had just wrapped the shooting for the day. In Grace's van, there were 3 members of the crew. Everyone was anxious to return to their hotel in Middleton, New York. While driving on the New York State Route 12, most of the crew members felt the left side of the van. Nearly in unison remarked, "What is that?" It was in the sky was a reddish-orange object and continued to get closer and closer to their van. At first, none of the folks could really make it out what it was that they were looking at. Grace says, "Well, we all agreed it was not a plane or anything else we'd ever seen. The only thing everyone in the van certainly agreed on was the object was getting bigger and bigger. It was getting increasingly darker outside as the sun was setting. Some of the folks in the van were on the verge of freaking out. The road began to be curvy and led to the forested area where we lost sight of the object. As the van came around a small turn in the road, there was one other crew. Van stopped. All of its crew members were out of their truck, standing in the middle of the road, looking up in a dazed manner. The driver of the van slammed on the brakes. After the vehicle stopped, the engine died and everybody got out." Alright, very interesting story. And one more. This is a sighting from ISIS, or the ISS, excuse me. This was on the 9th. And here we have a nice long golden rod UFO right out here. 1 minute 38-second video showing this. Okay. So there you have it. That's our UFO news for today. A lot of sightings going on. I'll be back momentarily and we will continue on with some more news and information. I'll be right back.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum. Oh, shit.
Underground is where they live. In the bases that are secretive. We're not supposed to know where they come from or where they go. And if you ask our leaders today, this is what they will say. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. What's up with their lives? Plausible deniability. That's their answer to all we think we see. So pay attention. Read between the lines. Changes are happening, revealing lies. And if you ask our leaders today, this is what they will say. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. What's up with their lives? Now, underground is where they live. In the bases that are secretive. We're not supposed to know where they come from or where they go. And if you ask our leaders today, this is what they will say. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. I can neither confirm or deny. What's up with their lives? I can neither confirm or deny. They can neither confirm or deny. It's time for them, confirm or deny. No more.
Alright, let's continue on. So here's a story I wanted to pose to you, put up to you so you were aware. You know how we talk about the things that are going on with propaganda and, well, here's confirmation of all that. This is posted back in February. First time since 1948, propaganda is now legal in the U.S. On December 29, 2012, President Obama signed H.R. 4310, the 213 National Defense Authorization Act, and Section 1078 of the bill authorizes the use of propaganda inside the U.S., which had previously been banned since 1948 when the Smith-Mundt Act was passed. Okay, so we could see that says the first version of NDA does not include the bill. Second, domestic propaganda legislation induced by Representative Thornberry. And then we have the exact text. And so basically, the point of this being that you've heard about the propaganda. Well, here's more proof of that, okay? So they're using propaganda to trick the people, and most people have no clue because most people don't believe it. Most people, when I talk to some folks, they tell me that, well, if that was true, it would be on the mainstream news. They're just not even aware of the challenges that are going on out there in the battles. So it's kind of weird. All right, let's move on from there. This is Brother Nathaniel talking about what's going on with the whole immigration issue.
Mass immigration is splitting our nation, and American Jewry is driving the wedge even deeper. The majority of Jews voted for Obama, who's now pushing one of their favorite agendas, making it easy for illegal aliens to come and stay in America. I call it the Obamacon scam on immigration. And American Jewry, represented by countless Jewish organizations pushing mass immigration, just loves it. Rabbi Steve Guto of the Jewish Council for Public Affairs, there are hundreds of these Jewish organizations, says amnesty for illegals is Jewry's top agenda.
There are two issues at the top of our agenda at the very moment. One is the unbelievably important immigration debate in this country, to make sure that immigrants from around the world, particularly those from south of our border, have a chance here. The 12 million or 13 million that just live here and do work and aren't really going home, that they have a chance to stay here.
And Obama is doing just that, helping illegals stay here. Back in 2011, Obama told a crowd in Texas that he would never bypass Congress to make it easy for illegals to stay here. Surprise! He lied.
Sometimes when I talk to immigration advocates, you know, they wish I could just bypass Congress and change the law myself. But that's not how democracy works.
Yeah, sure. Now with a contrived border meltdown with thousands of alien juveniles crossing into America, Obama has changed his tune. He will bypass Congress.
Today, I'm beginning a new effort to fix as much of our immigration system as I can on my own, without Congress.
Wait a minute. You're not a dictator. We have elected officials who enact the will of the people, not yours. And we already have immigration laws, like the Immigration and Nationality Act, but they're not being enforced. They're straightforward laws. Someone crosses the border illegally, they get deported. But when Jewish hacks like Chucky Schumer say that Obama should act on his own, bypassing Congress, then existing laws get trashed.
Time is running out. If the House fails to act during this window, the President would be more than justified in acting any time after the summer is over to take whatever changes he feels are necessary to make our immigration system work better.
Time is not running out. This has been a long-standing debate for decades. Our immigration laws are not broken, except for the ones like Obama's executive order DACA that let unaccompanied juveniles cross our borders without being deported. And the only ones burdened are American taxpayers paying for illegal alien juveniles, some with contagious diseases, some members of the Mexican drug cartel, to be sheltered at care centers across the country. Border Patrol personnel, forced by Health and Human Services, HHS, have been turned into babysitters for unaccompanied juveniles. Nothing heartless here. This is an invasion. These juvies will become Americanized. I mean in a bad way. And a bigger problem than the juvies are the illegal family units with permission to disappear.
It's important for the American public to realize while we're here talking into the middle of the day, you have 80 new people coming through, the majority of which I'm willing to bet are probably get papers to come disappear inside the United States. The fact is that these people are they know they're going to be let go. The family units are going to get a piece of paper that gets them north. And once they go north, they disappear. So basically, it's not a promise to appear in court. It's a promise to disappear, because as soon as they make it north of the checkpoints, they're gone. It's not possible every single person has the same story. Everybody's been threatened by gangs. We know that they have these cheat sheets that tell them how to answer our questions. But these people know that all they have to do is get here, and they're going to be let go. Actually, in 2006, they had the Brazilian crisis where a bunch of people from Brazil were coming. The day they decided to deport the first people, they held them for processing. Within hours, that flow of traffic stopped. So the fact is, we know it can be stopped because it's been done before. There is an issue with narcotics getting away or other traffic getting away. Days ago, Lackland Air Force Base reported a confirmed case of H1N1 or swine flu. That person made it north, or that kid made it north with swine flu. What are we not getting?
He's only talking about 80 people at just one crossing, at just one moment of time. Multiply that by hundreds of crossings and thousands of moments, and we've got a broken country. Believe me, for I grew up as a Jew. Jews will not send their own to sit in the same classrooms filled to overflowing with Juvies who can't speak English and are illiterate even in Spanish. Instead, Jewry will use the Obama scam on immigration to continue the dumbing down of American children.
All right. It's very interesting, right? So it's always an interesting perspective to see in this regards. All right, so continuing on. What I want to bring to you now is I'm just going to play a little portion of this for you. This is, you know how there's a lot of videos out there and information about Egypt, right? And you can go and you can watch this. Well, this has to be some of the best stuff I've seen out there. This is Brian Forrester, and I've played some of his videos before. Brian is an archaeologist. He spends a lot of time out there studying the ancient ruins around the world. And here he's in Egypt, and these are shots inside the Great Pyramid, the other pyramids, inside the Sphinx and around the Sphinx. I mean, close-up, impersonal shots that you really don't see and haven't seen in other places. There's two videos here. The first one's 49 minutes in length. The second one is an hour and 12 minutes, I think. I'm going to play like just a few minutes of this first one here just so you can get the gist of what this is about. And we'll leave it at that. So here we go. Check this out. Enjoy a few minutes of this.
The problem is that his feed rate exceeded the state of the art that we have today in drag saws that use diamond.
That's a really pretty big blade to do that. That's probably what that hole is over there where the blade was in.
Yeah.
So this is Chris testing for flatness of a possible ancient cut surface.
But it's actually quite flat. Well, no, it's got a bit of the surface comes out here and then it kicks in.
You've got two
right
cuts
in
there,
there.
two different cuts there.
Yeah, you got two different cuts. Yeah, it comes down to here. Actually, there's three. It ends there, then it steps out. There's one there, and then it slips out. It appears that when they were actually placing these basalt blocks into the table, they were just kind of slicing off just to make them fit, just to, you know, have the top surfaces come together, and just knocking off little pieces here and there.
That's an ancient saw cut, you can tell. Because here, you look at that, you can see how the surface could have been pounded by stone to get the surface. But here, that's clearly evidence of some kind of tool like a saw cutting through the material for the top half.
To the tunnels underneath, to solar energy to...
Here, if I just zip through, and you got shots of the Great Pyramid there. They're examining different blocks there, and then you get inside. I mean, this is where it gets really cool. You get inside and you see them going through. They're inside the there's a large box that's in there. Their experience inside the box, the acoustics that are inside. I mean, it's just pretty amazing what's going on in here, and definitely should check it out. So I'm going to leave this available for you. The website right now is down to momentfirstcontactradio.com, but within the next couple hours it'll be back up and running, and everything will be all good. Should be able to follow these links and see what's going on with them. All right, so what I want to jump to today is I want to introduce you to this book because I did get a lot of comments and I hadn't had an opportunity to respond back to all of you yet, but I will. But I did get some really good feedback about the Kabbalistic material, the Tree of Life, and so I want to continue on with that study because I could see that you like that information as much as I do. And this here is a book, a very good book on the subject. It's called The Mystical Qabalah. And I am just going to go forward and I'm just going to pick a point here and we're just going to start looking at it. In this book, it talks about the Yoga of the West. What it's talking about is how our studies of esoteric science have evolved, how this system of the Tree of Life we're looking at is sort of a way in which the yoga of has been looked at for all the years that we're looking at sciences now, and they're becoming very important to our spiritual teaching in the way that yoga was very much as part of the path of the East. As we get around in here, we get into talking about the various unwritten aspects of the Kabbalah, how it's passed down from word of mouth, and then into the negative existence of Kabbalah, which is that which leads in to the Tree of Life. See, we have the Tree of Life, we know we have the starting point up at the top, but prior to that, there's the Ein Sof, and the Ein Sof Or, which are called three negative veils or levels of existence. One would be basically it's the limitless light is what it is. You go from complete negativity, which is the Ein, to limitless negativity, which is the Ein Sof, to Ein Sof Or, which is the negativity suddenly becomes light. So out of nowhere comes lightness. Out of this negativity becomes the light. And then that light finds a manifestation of itself into the first sphere of the Tree of Life, the top one, which is called Kether, the crown. And it finds its way in there through kind of organizing itself and into a point where it issues that point of energy into that first sphere. There's not a point within the energy itself, but it actually manifests one that creates the next sphere. All right, so what we're going to look at here is I'm going to go down, I'm going to look at this chapter here called Ochchim, the Tree of Life. Just kind of gives a nice good review. And I'm going to read through this book from time to time here. Maybe once a week we'll go over it. Just to learn some more about what's going on. This is a really good book. I would highly recommend. This is a PDF you can download. Okay, here we go. Ochchim, the Tree of Life. Before we can understand the significance of any individual Sephira, we must grasp the broad outlines of the Ochchim, the Tree of Life as a whole. The Sephira just are the classrooms. The official name is Sephira. So you've got 10 Sephira, you've got 22 paths. You actually, if you take the 22 and the 10, 32. When you hear the idea that there's 32 paths to the Tree of Life, that's where it comes from. 32, even though 10 of them are the classrooms, still for the point of expression, they're described as 32. Okay, the Ochchim, the Tree of Life, is a glyph that is said to be a composite symbol, which is intended to represent the cosmos in its entirety, and the soul of man is related thereto. And the more we study it, the more we see that it is an amazing, adequate representation. We use it as the engineer or the mathematician uses his sliding rule to scan and calculate the intricacies of existence, visible and invisible, in external nature or the hidden depth of the soul. It is represented, as we will be seeing from diagram 3, as a often set of 10 circles arranged in a certain pattern and connected among themselves by lines. The circles are the 10 holy Sephira, and the connecting lines are the path, 22 in number. Each Sephira, which is a singular form of the word of the Sephiroth of the plural, is a phase of evolution, and in the language of the rabbis, they are called the 10 holy emanations. The paths, between them, the lines of subjective consciousness, the paths are the grades by which the soul unfolds its realization of the cosmos. The Sephira are objective, the paths are subjective. Let it be recalled again that I am not expounding the traditional Qabalah of the rabbis as a historical curio, but the structure that has been raised upon it by generations of students, initiates all of them, adepts some of them who have made the tree of life their instrument of spiritual development and magical work. This is the modern Qabalah of the alchemical Qabalah, as it has sometimes been called, and it contains all of the things besides traditional rabbinical lore, as will be seen in due course. Let us now consider the general layout and significance of the tree. It will be seen that the circles which represent the Sephira are arranged in 3 vertical columns, and that the head of the center, forming the apex of the top of the Sephira, is the Sephira Kether, which is referred to in the previous chapter. To quote again the words of MacGregor Mathers, the limitless ocean of negative light does not proceed from a center, for it is centerless, but it concentrates a center, which is the number 1 of the manifested Sephira. Kether, the crown, the first Sephira. Madame Blavatsky draws from Eastern sources the Tehran, the point within the circle, to express the first B coming of manifestation, and the idea is contained in the rabbinical term Nedak Rashanab, the primal point, the name applied to Kether. But Kether does not represent a position in space. The Ein Sof Or has been called a circle whose center is everywhere and whose circumference is everywhere. A statement which, like so many in occultism, is inconceivable, yet nevertheless presents an image to the mind that therefore serves its purpose. Kether, then, and for that matter all of the other Sephira, is a state or condition of existence. We must always bear in mind that the planes do not tower upon one another in an Empyrean-like stories of a building. They are conditions of being, states of existence of different types, and though they develop successively in time, they occur simultaneously in space. Existence of all types being present in a single being, as we realize and we remember that the being of man is made up of a physical body, emotions, mind, and spirit, all occupying the same space at the same time. If anyone has ever watched a heated liquid, a saturation point, crystallize out as it cools, then they will have a useful symbol of Kether. Fill a tumbler with boiling water and dissolve it in as much sugar as it will take up, and then as the mixture cools, watch the sugar crystals appearing. When you have done this in actuality and not merely read about it, you will have a concept which you can think of the first manifest coming into existence out of the primordial unmanifest. The liquid is transparent and formless, but a change occurs within it, and crystals, solid, visible, and definite form, begin to appear. Equally may we conceive that a change occurs within the limitless light, and the Kether crystallizes out. I do not propose at present moment to go deeply into the nature of any of the Sephira, but merely to indicate the general scheme of the tree. We shall go over the ground again and again in the course of these pages until a comprehensive concept is built up. This can only be done gradually, and if we spend a great deal of time upon an individual point before the student has a general concept, much of that time will be wasted because the bearing of that concept on the scheme of the whole will not be understood. The rabbis themselves supply to Kether the titles concealed of all concealed, and the inscrutable height, hinting that there is not a great deal in the human mind that can hope to know about Kether. Okay, you can see there's more to this. I'm going to leave this for right now. Basically, remember the pattern on the trestle board? I'm gonna bring all this together in a much more cohesive study. But the pattern on the trestle board are these 10 points about the self, truths about the self. The first one is all the power that ever was or will be is here now, relating to the negative existences and all of the Sephira as a whole. The second one, I am the primal, I am a center of point. Is all about exactly that. So if you follow the pattern on the trestle board, you will find that each one, I am a center of expression for the primal will to good, which eternally creates and sustains the universe. You'll understand how number 1 is an explanation of the Sephira, Kether, and how each one successively, following the other 9 points on the pattern of the trestle board, all line up with the other Sephira. All right, we'll get to that over our course of study, because this is a course of study we're going to embark upon and actually have started upon today. All right, so let's continue on. Let's go over to In 5D. Here's an article here. This has to do with healing, and healing that comes to us from the old marijuana plant. In Weed the People, it's a new movie, filmmakers Abby Epstein and Ricky Lake take an unflinching look at the underground world of herbal medicine, where patients become experts in their own conditions and spend thousands of dollars on federally illegal medicines are concocted in suburban kitchens. Nowhere in this phenomenon more compelling than the treatment of children who are ignorant of the stigma of medical marijuana and whose parents will stop at nothing to help them. Weed the People looks beyond the pot activist propaganda and politics to reveal the legitimate science behind cannabis medicine and the compelling stories of ordinary people whose lives are inescapably caught up in the controversy. In July 2013, new parents Tracy and Josh Ryan received the devastating news that their 7-month-old baby Sophie had an inoperable brain tumor. The doctors prescribed chemotherapy as the only course of treatment, but could not guarantee it would work. Tracy Ryan felt intuitively that Western medicine alone would not be enough to save her daughter. After intense research, the Ryans began Sophie on a regime of medical cannabis oils, hoping for a miracle. The most fascinating area of cannabis research revolves around an element of the marijuana plant called cannabidiol, a powerful antioxidant that does not produce the psychotropic effects of THC. CBD shows a unique ability to kill cancer cells in early laboratory tests. 2003, United States government filed a patent on CBD as an antioxidant and a neuroprotectant useful in the treatment of disease. Yet the same government continues to classify marijuana as a Schedule I drug with no currently accepted medical use, preventing doctors from studying it. The government's hypocritical position on CBD leaves patients like Sophie in uncharted waters as they experimentally use unregulated machine that may be saving their lives. Here we have a trailer of the movie right here for you to check out. The trailer is 8 minutes and 49 seconds. I'm going to leave this all for you to check out on your own. Again, it's very important that we look at these other healing remedies that are out there. And it is silly because the government does know about these things and they keep them from the people. Again, the more that we, the people, realize what is going on, we understand that they, the government, are standing opposed to we, the people. And we, the people, need to find our own ways about doing things because they, the government, are only interested in they themselves. So the sooner we realize this, the better off we're going to be. Leave them to their own devices. Let them kill themselves, because eventually that's what they're going to do. We just need to step out of the way so they don't take us along with them. Because the sooner that they, the powers that be, kill themselves off, the better it will be for everyone else. And we could see that that's where it's headed because they're greedy. They're greedy and they're fighting amongst each other, and let's just stay out of their way. Let them fight. Let them do what they're going to do, and then they'll kill each other off, and bye-bye. Anyway, moving on. This is a message from today. Galactic Federation of Light message from Hilarion. Alright, let me go ahead and set this.
Hilarion.
July 13th through the 20th, 2014.
Beloved ones, the way forward is to go within as much as possible during the next few weeks. There is a lot of activity taking place on the energetic levels on both the surface of the Earth, within the Earth and on the higher etheric levels. It is a time of great changes, and this is becoming more evident with each passing day. Staying centered and aligned to your higher truth will help you move through this period with greater ease and grace. It is also very helpful to connect with the natural world around you by spending more time outdoors, as this helps to keep you grounded and connected with the earth energies. Immersing yourselves in water frequently can be very soothing, cleansing, and healing to your well-being. By keeping your exposure to the daily news at a minimum, you will fare well. There is much that is being kept hidden during these times, but that cannot last for too much longer. Those who have held power behind the scenes in every country of the world will not be able to keep their secret activities from being exposed to the world at large. The new energy influxes demand transparency in all interactions between all parties on the global scene and also amongst all people in general. The time for secrets is over. Every cell and every inhabitant upon the earth is being transmuted, purified, and transformed. There is soon to come a time when any darkness or shadow will be clearly seen within each person's auric field, and this revelation will assist everyone to walk in their light and live in truth and integrity. The veils between the worlds are fast dissolving, and those at the forefront who have blazed a trail through contact with the higher dimensions will now find it much easier to bring through greater knowledge and wisdom to be shared with all who are searching for answers. Forgive yourselves, dear ones, for being human, for you are creating a new and magnificent form that will far exceed previous ones on many levels. It is your very humanness that is most appreciated by the legions of higher dimensional beings who observe the growth and expansion taking place within you. Each of you is viewed as a true and courageous pioneer on a new and wondrous frontier as you learn to use your abilities and align these to the greater good of all, even though you must go through the same experiences as the rest of humanity. It has not been an easy path for any of you in this lifetime, but keep in mind that this is the lifetime where you emerge victorious in the light of your true magnificence. It is the soul qualities that you express and that you earn through the school of life on a physical planet that makes you such a powerful and unique being throughout the cosmos. These experiences are what are taken into the higher dimensions of life in the universe. The things of the lower dimensions must be transmuted into a higher light in order to stay with you. This is why there has been so much that needed to be released and let go. This process is still in effect and will continue to be in operation until every vestige of lower vibrational imprint is purified within every person's body and energy field. The more of humanity who can bring in their full light body presence, the quicker the acceleration into ascension can take place. These times call for transmutation through the use of the Violet Fire Decree, and this powerful spiritual tool is available to all. Daily use is very helpful, not only for personal use but also for transmuting the energies that surround the earth at this time. Use this mighty alchemical process with a light heart and the feeling of joy within your hearts. The light at the end of the tunnel draws near. Until next week. I am Hyla Ryan.
Alright, very nice message from Hyla Ryan, which brings us to our meditation for today. So go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath and exhale. Take another deep breath and exhale again. Another deep breath and contemplate the words of this affirmation as you breathe. Exhale. Breathe in and out slowly. I find it easy to recognize my positive qualities. I find it easy to recognize my positive qualities. And continue to breathe in and out and think of your positive qualities. Think of all the qualities that make you the person that you enjoy, the person that you like. And as you contemplate all of those positive qualities, you realize that there is a lot within you to be grateful for, to be thankful for. And as you recognize these positive qualities, you're also aware that there are qualities within yourself that you do not like, negative qualities. But when you consider what these are, you realize that they are all there to help you until the time when you're ready to let them go. And so at this point in time, having recognized the positive qualities, let's go ahead and let go of those negative ones. Just let them go. Give thanks to them for providing the assistance that they provided up to this point in time. Thank them for the lessons you learned from them, and then just let them go. And all of these negative qualities, as they let go, instantly the positive qualities expand to fill the space left behind. And you feel your body filling with more positive qualities, positive vibrations. Imagine all of your chakras are activated from the bottom of the spine up. Red at the bottom of the spine, orange above that at the belly button, yellow just below the rib cage in the solar plexus area, green in the heart, blue at the throat. At the third eye we have indigo, and finally at the crown chakra violet, and then the light continues on into the cosmos. Feel the light as it flows through your body. There's a multicolored light. red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet, white, all flowing through your body, filling every area of your body with this love, this positivity. And just feel the love and the positivity from all of these energies flowing through you. And as you go in the world today, let that be enough, just to feel the love within you and then to allow it flow out to other parts of the world so other people feel it as well, inspired. So just imagine yourself walking the path, letting this love flow, inspiring those around you. And just imagine yourself on that journey today. Let your subconscious mind continue on that journey, just sending out this love. And let's bring our conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale and open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That is our show for today to get us started for the week. I'll be back tomorrow with more news and information. Have yourselves an awesome day. I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.